The craziest deal that we have is actually one we just completed last year. It was a two flat in Chicago. We picked it up. It was a referral. If you guys, I mean, referral is one of the best ways to go about getting business. I'm sure you know. And someone came to us said, "Hey, I know you guys are doing fix and flips. I got an off market two flat. Can you guys take a look at this? See if the numbers work." We went back and forth, and this deal was kind of crazy from the beginning because we had a seller who hired an attorney from North Carolina to represent, right? And
What? Out of state attorney?
That's a good way to mess up things in Illinois.
so it was well, and it was like one of his old friends he went to high school with, and he trusted him. He's like, he's like, I got this guy who's going to represent. So I'm talking to the seller, and everything sounds good, and then all of a sudden I get on with his attorney, and right from the beginning I knew that this transaction was going to be interesting because of the way that this attorney operated, right? And he was like,
so take me into that a little bit more. So was it the attorney's voice? Was it his presence? Like, what tipped you off?
So it was his demeanor and the way that he like presented himself. And so so he started off by telling me all the things that he's accomplished in his career. He was a corporate attorney for McDonald's back in the day, right? So he has never done real estate in his career, has never represented real estate. He literally sat in a boardroom and listened to all the board members talk. And then he was like the legal person, right? To make sure that they stayed compliant and didn't step on anybody's toes. So he's talking about all these degrees that he has. He's talking about I was a $1 million attorney with McDonald's corporate, and I was at their head office and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, great. How many real estate transactions have you facilitated?
Let's bring you back down to earth, bro.
Right.
So that's the first question I always ask when I have a seller that wants an attorney. Like, is your an attorney a real estate attorney?
Real estate attorney.
Because people, oh yeah, he was a DA, and it's like that's not going to do you any good, bro.
We ain't selling hamburgers here.
Yeah,
not at all, right? So this guy was, and he had experience, right? So I'm not going to knock him on what he does and what he accomplished. I never throw dirt. You throw dirt, you lose ground. So I appreciate what he done. I respect his business. I respect his career. Just a little bit different, right? Yeah. So right from the beginning, and this dude is challenging me on everything, right? The way that we wrote our contract, our inspection period, the earnest money. I mean, I went back and forth with this dude on earnest money several times. Even had to bring in our attorney. We use Gary Davidson out of Chicago. I'm sure, right, Tim, you know him. So, I mean, it got to the point where I had to bring in Gary Davidson. And I don't like wasting people's time. It's like, dude, I shouldn't have to bring Gary in to help, articulate a contract to an attorney who is that prestigious, right? At least in his perspective, right, in his mind. So I'm trying to explain to him how we do things and why we do them. He's not getting it. So me and him go back and forth, and we're butting heads, right from the start, because he's got that tone, right, where he knows better, or he's got that, he's kind of like a level above us. So I'm kind of taking my jabs when I can, because that's my personality, and he's not liking it as much, right? So me and him butt heads right from the beginning, and finally so I had to get our fund manager. We've got a private fund that we use. So we're liquid, we're cool. So I had to bring my fund manager to a call, and then also our attorney, Gary Davidson, to a call with this guy to explain to him our process, why we write the contract the way we did, why we do the earnest money the way we do, that we had the funds liquid. And Gary, dude, I love Gary so much. Dude, if you worked with Gary before, and if you've ever gotten him, I don't want to say riled up, but if you push a button, Gary will step on it, right? Really,
Pitbull turns on.
Oh yeah. So he got aggressive with this dude and put this guy in his place really quick. So that was fun, right? That was fun right from the beginning, going back and forth with this dude. Finally, we get this guy to accept it. He understands it, and it's like you go through and we go to closing, and I find out that he had this big this big persona and all this pride, and he's trying to bring all this knowledge from a different aspect of the industry and trying to help us get through, and come to find out that he was really just scared because he didn't know really what the hell he was doing.
Yeah,
right. And he admitted this to our attorney, not Gary, but one of his assistants, I think, Lisa. he admitted this to Lisa when we were getting ready to close. He's like, thank you guys for being patient with me. And like, I really didn't know what I was doing. I'm just trying to help out my friend, like almost in like tears. Cause like he was so ashamed that he didn't know what he was doing. He didn't want to admit it. So right from the beginning, I knew it was going to be interesting. And we get into the rehab, we're doing it, that moved along pretty well. Right. And I think you've seen the property, Tim, or you might've seen it somewhere. But we got that done. We got it knocked out, got it up on the market, and, we get under contract. And then this is where things like kind of turn a little bit. So we get a call, and this buyer and this buyer attorney were like, excuse me, we're honest like every single day about this property. They wanted it. Hey, we're doing our inspection. Hey, has anything changed? Right. So they're honest every single day. And we're about a week and a half out from closing. The buyer's agent calls me, says, hey, there's a moving truck out in front of this property, like the property we're about to buy. It's like, should we know something? I'm like, well, thank you for telling me. I was like, sounds like something we should know, right? That's going on with this property. So we call the police, and they go there, and these people broke into our house. And when the cops got there, they had a fake lease. And in Chicago, yeah. And I guess there's this entire business model. Like people actually built a business model around breaking into houses for sale with a fake lease. And then they basically just hold the property hostage for a fee. So these people broke in, the cops are at the place. They've got a fake lease. It's got our name on it. They probably just found, right? They found who owned the property through public records. It's got a fake signature on it. The locks to the doors are sitting on the ground, literally. They were able to get enough furniture in, so it looked like they got like a couch, like a couple tables. They got enough furniture in, so it looked like they were like moving in and had been there for a little bit. But all the appliances were gone. Right? They stole all the appliances, and so this is the scam, right? That's going on in Chicago right now. I guess it's huge. So we start freaking out because we're like, we're supposed to close next week, right? And we're supposed to close next week. The buyer's freaking out. We're freaking out. And, we found, I honestly don't even know how much of this I'm supposed to share, but like I said, I'm an open book, bro. So we found what we like to call, and we've got these guys on deck. So if someone's listening to this and you're having this happen to you right now, like what we did was we found what we call our goon squad. And these people showed up at the house, went in, started taking pictures of all the dudes, taking their IDs, right? So we knew exactly who all these people were. And within 48 hours, we had them moving all of their shit out of our house.
Whoa.
Nice.
Whoa. That's incredible. So I'm curious to know more, and obviously feel free to share what you feel like is appropriate.
Yeah.
But that's great, man. So you were able to kind of outsmart the criminals there.
Outsmart the criminals, and it cost us a little bit.
Yeah.
But it did not cost us nearly what it could have. We had to pay those dudes to do their job. We did end up paying them like a small fee to get out of there. But we could have, and you guys know how eviction laws are in Chicago. They could have lived there for 12 or 18 months, right, for free.
Totally.
So we got them out in just a couple of days. Cost us a little bit of change, but way better than what it could have been. We got the appliances in within 5 days. So we got all new appliances back in within 5 days. They had scratched up some floors because they didn't pick up the appliances when they took them out. They just dragged them out. So we had to fix up some of the hardwood floors. They dinged up some of the walls. So we got these people out within 48 hours. We got all new appliances in. We got all right back to the way it was before they got in there. All new locks, brand new security system. All this done in like less than a week. And then we still closed on the property. We made about 50 or 60 grand on that one, on that flip. So that's probably from the inception of this deal, and talking to, started with this attorney, and then, we got through the rehab, and honestly, the rehab process was pretty smooth. Every once in a while you get some humps and bumps in there, but that went pretty smooth. And I honestly have never in my entire career, if ever heard of or even came across that type of, I call it, it's like they call it like a business model, but it's a scam, right? It's
Yeah.
bullshit.
Yeah.
But I've never heard of that before, and we were able just to pull together, get resource, and just get it knocked out, man.
That's incredible. Like I have heard of somewhat similar scams, but this is a new level of criminality because not only are they taking access to property they don't own, they're creating fake leases.
Yep.
And gosh, I mean, like, yeah,
Well,
that's
here,
nuts.
so there's two things that we learned from this, right? One, the cops will not try, because we were on the phone with the cops. We're like, that's a fake lease. Like, we didn't sign that, but because it's a contract, like it's not their job to interpret contracts, right? So they were completely hands off with it.
Yeah.
So we just were like, it doesn't make any sense to us.
Yeah.
What we later found out, because one of our partners, his son actually works for the CPD. What we later found out is if we would have drove down there, as in like proved that we're the owners, and then said that this is a bullshit lease, like these people are trespassing, they would have kicked them out there right there on the spot.
Yeah. I
So
hope they arrested him. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so two very important things. If anyone hearing this comes across a similar situation, one, know that the cops aren't going to just kick these people out, right? Because they're not going to deal with the actual contract or legalities of that. And if you can get down there and then prove that you're the owner, then you can get those people out right away. There'd be no questions asked. But we didn't know that. We had no idea what the options were. And we went the goon squad route, and now we've got a goon squad on deck. So if anyone tries to squat in our place again, call these people up. We already know, what they charge. We already know what the process is. They go in, and within 48 hours, they get people out.
Incredible.